International Project Cooperation and Management online course. Managing the Risk. Risk Management Strategy. Prince 2. A risk management strategy describes the specific risk management techniques and standards to be applied and the responsibilities for achieving an effective risk management procedure. The contents of a risk management strategy. 1. Introduction. States the purpose, objectives and scope and identifies who is responsible for the strategy. 2. Risk management procedures. A description of, or reference to, the risk management procedures to be used. Any variance from corporate or program management standards should be highlighted, together with a justification for the variation. 3. Tools and techniques. Refers to any risk management systems or tools to be used, and any preference for the techniques which may be used for each step in the risk management procedures. 4. Records. Defines the composition and format of the risk register and any other risk records to be used by the project. 5. Reporting. Describes any risk management reports that are to be produced, including their purpose, timing, and recipients. 6. Timing of risk management activities. States when formal risk management activities are to be undertaken. For example, at end-of-stage assessments. The contents of a risk management strategy. 7. Roles and responsibilities. Defines the roles and responsibilities regarding risk management activities. 8. Scales. Defines the gradations for estimating the probability and impact of the project to ensure that the scales for cost and time, for instance, are relevant to the cost and time frame of the project. These may be shown in the form of probability impact grids, giving the criteria for each level within the scale, for example, very high, high, medium, low, and very low. 9. Proximity. Guidance on how proximity for risk events is to be assessed. Proximity reflects the fact that risks will occur at particular times, and the severity of their impact will vary according to when they occur. Typical proximity categories will be imminent, within the stage, within the project, beyond the project. The contents of a risk management strategy. 10. Risk categories. Definition of the risk categories to be used, if at all. These may be derived from a risk breakdown structure or prompt list. 11. Risk response categories. Definition of the risk response categories to be used, which themselves depend on whether a risk is a perceived threat or an opportunity. 12. Early warning indicators. Definition of any indicators to be used to track critical aspects of the project, so that if certain predefined levels are reached, corrective action will be triggered. 13. Risk tolerance. Defining the threshold level of risk exposure, which, when exceeded, require the risk to be escalated to the next level of management. 14. Risk budget. Describing whether a risk budget is to be established and, if so, how it will be used. Risk management procedures. Prince 2. Identify, assess, plan, implement. The above 4 steps are used in parallel with the 5th step, which is communicate. Risk management techniques. The choices. The Delphi technique. Assumption analysis. Influence diagrams. Flowchart diagrams. Ishikawa diagrams. SWOT analysis. Tornado diagrams. Monte Carlo analysis. Risk management strategy. Roles and responsibilities. This summarizes the roles and responsibilities for the various steps within the risk management procedures, as well as the project management team's roles and responsibilities. It will also bring together the previous sections of tools and techniques, records, reporting, and risk management activities to consolidate roles and responsibilities within the risk management strategy. Risk management strategy. Scales. This is where you decide what scales to use for risk elements such as probability and impact. These are normally in the form of numeric and/or descriptive scales. Examples might be a 1 to 5 ranking, or high, above average, medium, below average, and low. The probability impact grid, P1 grid, is a well-known example, and although the Prince2 manual calls it a summary risk profile, it forms an important part of any risk management strategy. Risk management strategy. Proximity. This refers to the time frame from the present moment to the time point when an individual risk can occur. Put another way, it describes how soon a risk can happen. Proximity within a risk management strategy may be stated in terms of days, weeks, or months, or it may be stated in terms of within the current stage, within a future stage, within the project, or in the product's operational life. By the very nature of an individual risk, some proximities will be date-specific, while others may occur within a fixed time frame from an individual risk's root cause. Risk responses to threats. Avoid. An action is planned such that the threat can either no longer have an impact on the project and/or its probability is zero. Reduce. An action is planned to either reduce the probability of the risk occurring and/or to reduce the impact of the event should it occur. Fallback, often called contingency. An action is planned but only implemented should the specific risk occur. Transfer. An action is planned that reduces the financial impact of the threat. Usually the action is via some form of insurance, or an appropriate clause is put in the contract. Accept. This is the take no action option. Risk responses for opportunities. Exploit. Taking action to ensure that the opportunity will happen and that a positive impact will be achieved. Enhance. Taking proactive actions which will enhance either the probability or the impact of the event. Reject. A decision taken not to exploit or enhance the opportunity. Share. This risk management action is often carried out within contracts that involve third parties, where a pain-gain formula is agreed should the threat or opportunity occur. Risk management strategy. Early warning indicators. The definition of any indicators to be used to track critical aspects of a project, so that if certain predefined levels are reached, corrective action will be triggered. They will be selected for their relevance to the project objectives. Risk management strategy. Risk tolerance. Defining the threshold level of risk exposure, which, when exceeded, require the risk to be escalated to the next level of management. For example, a project-level risk tolerance could be set as any risk that, should it occur, would result in loss of trading. Such risks would need to be escalated to corporate or program management. The risk tolerance should define the risk expectations of corporate or program management and the project board. Risk management strategy. Risk budget. It is optional in Prince2 that a risk budget be set. A risk budget is there to provide the funding for both the management as well as the risk response actions within a project. Since a risk budget is not mandatory, if you choose not to have one in your project, then the risk management strategy will describe how such risk management and responses will be covered by the project budget. This section should include not only the risk budget value itself, but how it is to be managed. Examples might be that the whole risk budget be given to the project manager, that the project board operate and manage it, or that some form of steering group manages the budget on behalf of the project board.